Hello and welcome. For today's subject, we have a new Holosun red dot.
3, 2, 1.
Now, one of the first things that people did when the internet was created is argue incessantly online about red dots on handguns. And it's even worse today because there are just endless options for mounting a red dot to your handgun. But I think Holosun here is going to simplify that a little bit. Now, it's called the SCS, and it's the only red dot, as far as I've seen, that is made to go directly onto a Glock that has the MOS cutout. Now, it's made for the standard MOS Glock, so it's not going to go on the slimline versions, but it's about the same size as the 407K and the 507K, and it does address the point that a lot of people have when it comes to mounting a red dot on a pistol, and that is the optics plate. And that's a bit of contention amongst people who like to put red dots on pistols. Ideally, for maximum strength, you don't want to deal with a plate, and the MOS system normally is you have a basic cutout in the slide, and on that you can put one of a few different plates depending on what red dot you're running. So there's one for the Trijicon RMR, there's one for Doctor series red dots, Loophole Delta Point, and all red dots that share the same footprint, and there are a ton of them. The good thing is you can have a versatile mounting option without permanently modifying your pistol. The downside is when you stack a red dot on a plate on the slide, it can be a failure point. So the strongest way to mount a red dot to a pistol is to have it directly to the slide. Now, since this is made for the Glock MOS, you do see it fits perfectly on their slide cut. It even continues the slide serrations up on the red dot itself. And it's a bit of a bold move to make a red dot that is only for a specific handgun or specific series of handguns. So I do give Holosun some props for having the balls to make something specific to something like the Glock MOS. Mind you though, the Glock 19 was the best-selling pistol last year and probably will continue to be for a bit. And there's tons of other Glocks that run the same MOS system. So with that, over the years, there's got to be tens or dare I say hundreds of thousands of Glock MOS pistols out there. So they haven't exactly made a niche red dot because there's plenty of people that shoot it. Now, I want to get to the really neat part about this red dot. Most red dots have a battery, of course, and it uses the power from the battery to power the red dot. Holosun and a couple others have kind of evolved that with a solar panel on it so it can supplement the battery to extend the battery life. But this one is unique in the sense that you cannot remove the battery, and the solar panel on it actually charges it instead of supplementing it. So we're out here in the bright sun right now. This thing is on, it's bright, and it's going to continue to be for the life of the product, which is years and years and years. So when you get it, it'll come with a little chart in the manual that shows exactly under what conditions it charges and how much and that sort of thing. But overall, even when you're inside, that's enough light to keep this thing from using more power than it needs. So even if we're inside our office or at an indoor range, the lights from that are enough to keep this thing charging even when it's being used. Now, it can be turned on and off. There is a button right here to do that. Now, when it's under normal operations, it has an auto brightness, so it'll adjust itself related to ambient lighting conditions. But it's not like some red dots that will auto adjust, but in such a way where it's not bright enough. Especially if you're inside, like a pavilion or something, shooting outside to bright sunlight like what we have here. Some red dots, it's just not bright enough and you can't control it. This though is certainly bright enough when set to auto, be it inside or outside. But you can hit that same button once and it'll kick up the brightness a few notches and it'll stay there for about half an hour, and then it'll put itself back to the auto brightness, but you can turn off the auto brightness by hitting that same button once. But with how good the automatic setting is, I don't think you'll need to worry about that. As far as the adjustment, it'll have 1 MOA clicks at 25 yards, for example. It'll be 4 clicks per inch of movement. I like a closer zero. I like more like a 10-yard zero on something like this, so that'd be 10 clicks per inch. And out of the box, it is set up to be quasi-zeroed at 25 yards, which I did make a few shots here at about 15 just to see what's what, and it was pretty much dead on, so I would believe that. Though you will want to fine-tune it depending on the barrel you have, the ammo, and all that sort of stuff. So one question you might be asking is how it does with suppressor sights and with a suppressor. Now I have some Trijicon sights on here. I did have some suppressor height sights. Will it work with them? It's not fantastic, but it is doable. As far as the suppressor goes, I mean, it's not ideal, but if you do want to mess about with a suppressor while you have this optic, I think you can. Now, as you can see, putting the reticle above the sights a little bit like that will crop off the top of the circle portion of it. That's not an issue to me, but if that may bug you, switching it to just the dot will fix that. I also want to mention, I know I've been calling this a red dot. This is just out of habit, but I want to clarify that this is actually only available now with a green reticle, not red. Sorry about that. So is it usable with a can? Well, let's find out. Maybe not, maybe. Haha. Don't even need these. Short answer, yes, just not as ideal. I think this is a great little red dot, and especially if you have a GLOCK MOS, simplify your life and just get one of these. I know it's only available with a green dot, but you can get that with the 2-minute dot, the dot with the 32-minute circle, or just the open 32-minute circle. But it's simple, it's rugged, it's very dependable because you don't need to worry about the battery ever, which is, I think, is a very, very clever red dot from Holosun. I mean, of course it's a good fit for the MOS. That's the only platform that it's really made for. So, you know, it's nice and perfect. It fits very nicely. And having something that's as simple as this for the GLOCK, I mean, it's nice to see that because the last couple of years especially, micro red dots have just exploded. Everyone's making a whole bunch of different red dots. No one's talking to each other, so we don't know what footprint is this and what slide will fit that. Putting a red dot on a pistol can be impossibly complicated sometimes, but with this, it's very easy. You don't have the drawback of having to run a plate, which the plate can be weaker and it messes up your co-witness. This, very nice to co-witness with, and it's overall a very rugged titanium body. I mean, if you have a GLOCK MOS, this is the one. And best of all, this has our free red 1-day shipping. Also, comment below. We think this is a very clever idea from Holosun when it comes to the solar array and the charging and the fitment to the MOS. Comment below what you'd like to see as far as other red dot makers, as far as their technology and fitment and features and that sort of thing. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram, and we'll see you next time.